Welcome to Lever Up Your Life. I'm Nate Barger. I went from prison time and bankruptcy to now owning over $200 million in real estate. I want to show you guys all the mistakes I made so you don't make the same mistakes. It's time you create massive wealth for yourself. Guys, welcome to Lever Up Podcast. I got an amazing, I almost call him a magician because he's going to help you transform your mind today. JM Ryerson is an international speaker, mindset, and business coach, host of the Let's Go Win podcast, and best-selling author of Let's Go Win, The Keys to Living Your Best Life and Champion Daily Playbook. He helps high-performing leaders define and execute their individual leadership styles in order to grow the impact and profits of their business. His passion is to help others succeed at work, at home, and in life by offering simple tools that provide a work-life balance. Thank you for being my guest today, brother.
Man, it's my pleasure. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. It's great to see you again, brother. And you still down there in Florida. I thought you might be traveling, man, and we're getting towards the end of summer. So, man, let's go back. Let's start with JM Ryerson as a kid, man, because I know you're going to tell us all about mindset, brother, but you didn't always have the mindset, did you?
No, man. I mean, that's a ever evolving thing that I'm continuing to work on, but I'm a kid I'm originally from Montana. I grew up playing a ton of sports, had two amazing parents. They were married for 51 years.
Wow.
I did my dad in March. That, I miss him, but I had an amazing childhood, man. I got to play sports and so in terms of, that's where I came from. Then after I graduated from college, ended up in California and, started, I guess, 3 total businesses in the financial world. All along that while, I was just reading and reading and reading. And I think it started when I was studying abroad in Europe. I consume books, man. I just love information. And so a lot of those books were on psychology. They were on mindset. They were on leadership. They were on personal development. And I'm just passionate about it, Nate. I love it. It's something that I think we can all continue to work on. And so at one point, man, Let's Go Win was in my brain at about 21 years old. I remember finding a journal I had spent time on, wrote all about Let's Go Win. Then apparently I marinated on that for about 20 years. And yeah, man, it's crazy. And I wrote the book for my kids and I called it Let's Go Win. And it just set me on this journey of the podcast and coaching. And so I'm passionate about it. I just believe so much that we all deserve to live our best lives. And there's a couple of ways that I think we can do it.
That's right. And listen, so you said something there that took me back because, I got a passion to help people change their lives. And I thought, how can you do this where you're giving your best? And what he just said there was, I wrote it for my kids. See, now you're not holding anything back when you do that. So when I created, the educational stuff I do, that's what I think about. What if I'm to die? What is it that I would want to say to my kids, that I would want to leave to my kids? So tell us about that book and what it is that you wanted to not just leave your kids, but the viewers as well. And guys, go out. We're going to drop a link below. If you haven't read his books, we're going to drop a link for his books below.
Oh, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I started with vulnerability was actually the first chapter. And it's funny being a kid from Montana that was taught boys don't cry. It's an interesting chapter to start with, but it's one of the most profound things that I've learned is being vulnerable, being authentic, being ourselves. And I want my kids to be that, man. At no point do I want them not to be exactly who they are because they're beautiful, man. They're amazing human beings. I'm so proud to be their dad. At no point, even though the world's going to tell them they're not all these things, I want their authentic self to come through. So that's why I started there. And then it's just 12 chapters on various, mindfulness is one. We talk about humility, talk about simplicity, and I end with courage, fun, and transcend. And transcend is a big word for me. To me, it means overcome self-limiting beliefs. And so often, man, all of us have these self-limiting beliefs, whether we
Mm-hmm.
inherited them from parents, from our friends, from teachers, somewhere along the line, our 5-year-old self that had these huge dreams got kicked and kicked and kicked. And then we started just, compromising who we are. We started deciding that we're not able to do all those things. And that's something I want to absolutely obliterate. I want to get rid of. I don't like self-limiting beliefs. So I
Mm-hmm.
wanted my kids to know, like, hey, man, that's all BS.
Yep.
I know the world will tell you what you are or are not. You get to choose every day how you show up.
That's
And
right.
so that was my lesson for the kids.
Nah, man, that's right. And then so you say show up as you. That's the success formula to leaders. And so anybody out there that is struggling with that and somebody's projecting their insecurities or fears on you guys, think transformation. They haven't went through that yet. Maybe you're going through that. But there are so many people out here that struggle. And I would say, do you have any data on percentages of people that struggle on, transformation on mindset?
I don't have any data, brother. I will tell you, it's going to be gross in terms of how many people are compromising, have masks on. I mean, if I were to venture, it's 90% plus.
Yeah, it's
And
90 plus. Yep. Well, and then you think about this. You think about what percentage of people are living their best life out here. And we're in America. What is it? 2%?
Oh, maybe, man. I mean, so let me give you an example. A big part of what I work on is executives. They've crushed it financially, brother. They're killing it, but their health is suffering.
Yep.
Relationships suck. Here's the thing. It doesn't have to be one or the other. You can have all three. Because in my opinion, the three things that we all need to focus on or want to focus on, the biggest things in our world are our health, our relationships, and our purpose or our work. Okay. You don't have to sacrifice one for the other. And yet so often we do. And so I like to ask the question of why. Why do you have to pressure? Go ahead.
Let's say we're talking to somebody right now that's struggling, living paycheck to paycheck. How can you tell them that their finances aren't important?
Oh, 100% their finances are important. 100%.
So what would you recommend? Because I know you live a great life. You figured it out. I know you got some great books out, right? And, I want all you guys to go get his books and read his books. We're going to drop them later because, look, guys, this is not about you. This is about your future generations and you being a buck that stops where it's at right now. What would you tell people that are just struggling saying, well, yeah, I'd love to have a work-life balance, but the fact of the matter is I don't even know how to make any money. I don't even know how to provide for my family right now.
Yeah, it's a good one. Why? I always ask why. It's like the first question, and whether it's your health, it's your finances, it's your relationship, I'm always going to ask why. And so if that question comes back, I don't know how. Like you said, Nate, I just don't know how. Do you know somebody that has done well financially? Typically, everyone knows someone or has seen someone that's done well financially.
Yep.
Well, I don't believe that anybody necessarily came out of the womb and they're blessed. Like, okay, you're going to be a billionaire, you're going to be a millionaire, and you're going to be worth nothing. That's not the way it works. All this stuff is learned behaviors. All these things are being surrounded by people that either lift you up or they bring you down. And so you start to look at, all right, so that person that says, I can't make it on paycheck to paycheck. Okay, why is that? Okay, answer that question. Do you know someone that's done well? Okay, can we talk to them to find out some of the things they've done well? And if not, okay, no problem. Who are we surrounding ourselves with? Are our friends that we're surrounding ourselves with, are they doing well or are they struggling financially too? And I already know the answer. If you're struggling financially, your best friends are too. That's just the way it works. So step one is going to be to level up. Step two is going to be reach out to these people that have done well, because you're not gifted to make money. You put in a plan, you put in some work, you put in some thought, And guess what? Those things start to pay off.
Mhm,
Just like
mhm.
Nate, I know your amazing journey because you're on my show and I got to be a part of that journey. But it wasn't like you were gifted to be wealthy and to do
Mhm.
well. You chose a path and
That's
you
right.
made choices. And so that's the biggest thing, Nate, that I want everybody listening. We all have a choice every single day. How am I going to show up? Am I going to be a victim or am I going to take responsibility? And if you don't like where you're at financially, let's make a choice. Let's choose different just one day. And then guess what? Oh, that feels good. Let's choose again. Let's choose different than we did before.
Yep.
It's always a choice. It's just a matter of what you're choosing.
Yeah, I like to tell people that, on average, the average human is going to make 70 million decisions in his life. Those 70 million decisions become the sum total of your life. So if you're halfway through your life, you've probably made 35 million of those decisions. Those decisions have led people up to where they're at right now. But you studying psychology, a person out here saying, well, I just, and I know the answer. I think I know the answer to this, but I want to hear from you. I hear it all the time. Well, if I just had some money, I would be wealthy. Or if I just, let's answer that one. For those of the people out there, they say, well, I don't have any money. I can't make any money. Because we're here to talk about mindset, baby.
Well, the first challenge is, and you've seen it with lottery winners, where they've made hundreds of millions and they're broke within 5-10 years. Well, A, financial literacy is lacking. B, they don't think they're worthy of making that. And that's really where it starts is do you believe you are worth 10 million, 100 million, $1 billion? And if you can't answer yes, we got to start there. Like, for a good example, Nate, in my career, I met so many people that when I sat down in an interview chair with them and I'd say, hey, how much do you want to make? And the number always, almost 99% of the time, was 100 grand. Okay.
Wow.
That was like that. And I was like, all right.
Wait. 100 grand for their week or their life or what?
For the year, brother.
Oh.
And yeah. And I mean, look, I'm not actually money motivated myself personally. That's the funny thing.
Yep.
But I do believe.
Yeah, that's why you live down there in Boca Raton with all the wealthy people. But you're not money motivated, and I'm not really either, but it comes. It's just a byproduct of doing the things over and over and over again.
1,000%. And how many amazing opportunities. Like, I was just talking to your guy before the show. You provided an opportunity for somebody to help you do your show. That's an opportunity. When you make money, you can provide more opportunities. Money is a great thing, by the way. That's the one thing I didn't realize early in my life.
Wait. You said something. I think you're on something. Does anybody else agree that money's a great thing? Because if you do, why are you so busy in a rush to go give it away? Right? But go on. I'll let you go.
Well, I mean, so when you figure out, am I worthy of whatever? And for so many of the people, it was 100 grand a year. And I'm telling you, Nate, people would think that was Mount Everest. I can't climb that mountain. That's too big. And every human being I've ever encountered can, and if they choose to, can make over 100 grand a year. No question about it. But it does start as, do you believe you're worth it? If you can say yes to that, guess what? You can also say, I'm worth $1 million a year. If you can say yes to that, then you can say I'm worth 5 million a year. Then you can say 10, and that number can keep stepping up. Now, at some point, you're going to say, well, wait a minute, but I want freedom. I want time with my family. Cool.
Yes.
I have no problem with that. In fact, I coach on this all the time. Maybe that extra zero in your account isn't worth destroying your relationship. That's maybe something you consider. But when it comes to really finding some financial freedom, I just want people to realize that they're worthy of it. They deserve it. And if they're willing to go get it, they have the ability. They have the choice, but it comes down to them.
That's right. That's right. So ultimately, guys, what he's telling you is it comes down to you making a decision. And I think, my partner Mike, he has a similar story to that. But how do you inspire and evolve your team or your team or whoever you're coaching, once they make that decision to go out and make that happen?
So we're going to
Because the
get
decision's one thing, but you got to have a plan. You got to have a goal, right?
100%. So, and I apologize for cutting you off there, but I get passionate about this. So
No worries, brother.
once we figure out that, yes, I am worthy of it. Okay, cool. Why do we want to go make X? And then we start getting those answers. Once we have why I'm going to do it. So in my case, it's my kids, it's my wife. I want to make sure they want for not. Nothing can get in my way, brother. Nothing. I'm telling you, that flat tire that's going to ruin somebody's day. No, not going to do it for me.
Not a big deal.
I told you earlier, I lost my dad this year. It hurt, brother. But am I going to let that get in the way of accomplishing my goals? No. It's a setback, and man, it hurts. But it's going to fuel my fire even more to make sure that while I'm on this planet, I'm going to take care of my kids. The business partner that is literally he has taken almost $5 million out of my pocket, right? That I'm have to battle him for now. Is that going to stop me? No.
Wow.
It's a roadblock. It's a speed bump.
Yes,
and guess what?
Bump.
Sometimes those speed bumps look big, man. And man, sometimes you hit those bumps and they hurt. But am I going to allow that speed bump to make my decision? No. And so I actually did a podcast today on mine, and I was all about grit. Look, life is going to happen. That country song is going to play. Your girlfriend's going to break up with you. The dog is going to die. The car is going to break down. The tornado is going to come. Look, that is going to happen to all of us. Are you going to have the grit, determination, tenacity to follow through on your why? Or are you going to let all these little things get in your way? And it's just a choice. We get to make it every single day.
A lot of it's beliefs. And I know that you speak on this, self-limiting beliefs. How important is that to get rid of? And look, I was a victim of that. Coming up, alcoholic family, and we weren't taught that we could have whatever we wanted. We were taught that that's only for the lucky people. Well, I said, well, Dad, what do we got to do to be lucky? It's like, where do lucky people live at? I want to go meet them. So how can they overcome that, brother?
Yeah, and you said it. What you asked a great question. However old you were, what is it going to take to be those lucky people? Why can't I be that lucky person? These are good questions to ask because the truth is, so your family being coming from alcoholics, right? That may have been a generational thing. And their parents before them may have been alcoholics. And that may have, and all this stuff gets passed down.
Absolutely.
That does not have to be your present. That doesn't have to be your future. That is just where you weren't put in that position. You didn't ask to say, hey, put me in this family that drinks too much. You didn't ask for it. Guess what? You also don't have to make that your future. You get a choice in the matter. I can't tell you how many times, Nate, when somebody's like, well, I'm this because. Is that because that's true, or because that's a story you've been told? That's the story you keep telling yourself. Look, if your story does not serve you, stop telling it. Change the narrative. You get to choose whether again, in this scenario, am I an alcoholic or am I an athlete? Am I a whatever? So whatever label you choose to put to yourself, if it doesn't serve you, drop it, because that's the first thing, is get rid of that identity. You don't have to be an alcoholic. You don't have to be anything. You choose to be whatever it is, regardless of circumstance. And I'm talking, Nate, the worst victims of things that we don't even like to talk about: rape, molestation. Think of the worst of the worst. That is horrible. And they were a victim of that crime. However, they get to choose responsibility of their life and not allow that horrific act or circumstance to determine their future. And when you talk about like Oprah, you look at her horrible childhood. That woman chose, this is my life. I'm taking responsibility for it, regardless of my really
That's
crappy
good. That's
So,
good.
and I know that's your story, brother. Like, you had challenges, but you rose above it because you said, I take responsibility for my life. Forget all these other things and people that are trying to bring me down. That's not me. And I love that about you.
Right. That's right. Well, you too, all of us. You know, ultimately, anybody that's out here that's successful nobody had an easy path. I mean, it may have been different, but everybody had challenges to overcome. You know, and right here, if you guys are at a Y in the road, this way right here, you can go and you can complain about what's happened to your life in the past. It's not going to get you anywhere. This one here, you can decide what's going to happen in your future. What path are you going to decide to go down today? So where do you feel like you were at that path in your life where you made that decision that I am moving full speed ahead? I'm not stopping. I'm getting new people around me. I'm going to be around positive people. Do you remember that moment?
Well, it's happened many times. That's the thing. Apparently, I'm hard-headed, and I got to learn that lesson more than one time. It happened the first time after I blew out my knee for the third time.
Wow.
And my label that I had affixed to myself and I had been put on me is I'm an athlete. Well, after my third knee surgery, I'm not playing ball anymore. I am now a normal kid going to school. So
how old were you then, brother?
I was 20 years old after that last surgery.
Wow. And you had spent, and I think what people don't understand about athletes, if you're a top athlete, you've already overcome mindset in a lot of different ways. So what position did you play?
I was a two guard, man. I could shoot the deep ball. 2-footer tough. 22-footer, no problem.
Yep. So oh, go ahead, brother.
No, just so to your question, yes, athletes, you learn to fail. You learn how, because you fail way more than you succeed as an athlete. But the label I was wearing, Nate, was I'm an athlete. And when that was taken or is no longer my reality, what am I now? And so that's when I got real quiet and I got to determine what my future was. And my future was I'm going to educate myself with books and I'm going to feed myself positivity. And that led me to, starting my own business with a business partner. Then again, brother, I surrounded myself with not necessarily the most positive people. And I hit this level. And guess what? My relationship, just like I talked about, I was separated from my wife for a year.
Wow.
And it was in large part due to the folks I had surrounded myself with, the position I'd put myself in. Trust me, it was me. I chose all these things. And then I chose to get out of it. And so each time that you get hit with a setback, and by the way, like you said, it's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's when.
Yep,
that's life. Right.
That's right.
Get kicked. It's just the way it works. So don't be surprised by it. Just know that you're strong enough to overcome it. And so that's been my lesson again and again and again. I'm learning it today, just like I'm going to learn it tomorrow. Look, things aren't going well for a moment, but I get to choose to be a victim or take responsibility.
No, that's great. And, Joe, have you met Joe Camerato yet?
No.
So you'll probably meet Joe, and he works with Steve and them, great guy. But he said something earlier. He said, Nate, I was losing everything. I was going bankrupt back in 2007, or house going into foreclosure. And he's knew this wealthy business guy, right? And this is where his mindset shift. He said, so what's going on? He said, man, I'm losing everything. He said, well, I just came from my buddy's house. He got 6 months to live. He has cancer. And he said, over there in Dubai, he said, all them Lamborghinis and Ferraris that are covered in dust? He said, you know why those people left? He said, because over there, if you can't pay your bills, they put you in jail. He said, so you're not going to jail. You're not dying in 6 months with cancer. What's the problem? Nothing. It's all perception, right? It's perception, brother. So you tell Joe Camerato when you meet him that you want to hear that story from him.
I love that, man. I mean, that is whoever told him that. That is such gold.
I'm telling
And
people that too, and I'm going to tell them that I heard it from JM Ryerson. That mindset, baby.
it's so true though, because look, everybody wants to tell their story, and the only reason you play a victim, and there's a whole group that's called reality TV, that is all based on being a victim, because then you get sympathy, you get empathy, you get some attention. That's it. All the other feelings are horrible. You're weak, no power. You there's nothing positive that comes from playing the victim. But
Yeah.
when you get to choose, oh yeah,
Well,
there's freedom.
well, when you play the victim, only a certain type of personality is going to pay any attention to that, and they're not the ones that can lift you up. So playing a victim ultimately gets you nowhere.
It's true. But you know what's awesome, brother? It drives me nuts. But my wife and I learned this kind of together at some point. The victim responsible went through this whole thing together, right? Every day she will either call me on it or I'll call her on it, where it's like, hey, is that pity party over? Are you done being? And brother, I don't like it some days because yes, I am being the victim, damn it. And she's like, are you done? Are you ready to start moving forward? And I love that, man, because I gave her permission to do it. I love her for it. And everybody needs that at some point.
You're owning your life, brother.
That's it.
What better way to live than own your life? So talking about owning your life, I know you teach amazing leaders how to become better. So what are some of the qualities that you think leaders must have? And guys, if you are just shifting your mindset or just hearing about this mindset thing, I was 20 something years old before I even knew that you had anything to do with the mindset. You know, I was just a drug dealer. And I think I read the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and he started talking about changing your paradigm of thinking. I said, dang, you can do that. So what would you say? There's people out there that are hearing this for the first time that have no idea. So they're going to work on their mindset. They're going to believe that they can have make $1 million a year, 100,000 a year, $1 million a year. They're going to believe that they deserve that. And by believing that you deserve that, you have to start moving towards that, right?
100%. Look, the most basic thing I'll start with is you need to work on you first. So every single day, take care of your mind, your body, your soul. First thing you do in the morning. It's not grabbing your cell phone, I promise you. And I'm not talking about getting up at 5 a.m. I'm not talking about that. I'm literally saying before you go put on your hat as a dad, as a husband, as an employee, as an employer, take care of you first so that you can show up as your best self. So that's literally step one. Take care of your mind, your body, your soul.
Okay, so give us an example of what you would recommend people do first thing if it's not grabbing a cell phone. Because first thing that comes to my mind is I'm gonna grab my coffee, my cell phone, and I'm headed to the hot tub.
Okay. Now, you said coffee, cell phone, and you're heading to the hot tub, right? That's your thing?
Yep.
What are you doing in the hot tub, if you don't mind me asking? Because there's a reason you're going to do that.
Yeah, I'm not decompressing because I'm not compressed. I'm going out there to listen to the birds chirp, take in the air, think about what I'm going to do for the day, and then I start looking at some of my reports, financial reports from the hotels last night. And you know, I start putting my schedule together. What do I got on my schedule today? What do I have to do today? But I'm enjoying drinking my coffee while I'm out there. And if I'm lucky enough, my wife will come out there with me sometime, but she usually wakes up an hour after me.
Cool. So it's a routine, right? That's to me, what I just heard is you're taking care of your soul right there. That's the one, and maybe your body, maybe that hot tub is doing something.
I got a personal trainer. I'm going to have to fire him though, because I've been paying him for a year, and look, I keep paying him. I haven't lost a pound yet, man. He keeps telling me I got to come to the gym. I said, well, listen, if I got to come to the gym, why do I need to hire you? And so I don't know. My body, I got to take care of better, JM.
Well, I'm not judging any of that. What I will tell you, brother, is why do you have a trainer, right? And I assume it's because you want to live a long time. You're a successful dude. You deserve to enjoy all the fruits of your labor. Well, in order to do that, you got to have health. And
Mm-hmm.
all of us, like, so I'm 44, man. Just the other day, I went to the doctor and my shoulder, I've torn a labrum in my shoulder. I knew it was, and he said, I have to have a total shoulder replacement. Brother threw
Wow.
me for a loop because I'm 44, man. Like, no, I'm not ready for a replacement. But here's the deal. I'm gonna go make sure I'm taking care of it. Now I know that I have something. I want to be able to be functional. I don't want to be 80 years old and not able to move. Look,
Mm-hmm.
if that happens, put me out to pasture, brother, because I need to move. I need to be active. So getting back on track for just a second, your examples that you asked for me, taking care of my mind is reading 10 pages. That's just a habit. I say 10, it could end up being 20 or 30. Okay. Then I move my body. I just got to move because there's a lot of reasons to get your, the hormones going positively to spike those endorphins. There's so much positive studies behind that. I don't want to take any time with that other than to say we all should move, just get going. I don't care if it's qigong in the morning, yoga, working out, lifting, whatever you choose, just move your body. Just get a little sweat going.
About how long you think, just till you start sweating? 15, 30 minutes?
The easiest thing is everybody just sweat once a day. I've tried to break it down to, go for an hour, go for 30 minutes. Everybody's different. If you sweat once a day, good things will happen. And then lastly, for the soul, I love what you do, being in the hot tub, listening to the birds. Like, that's your time to, again, quiet the mind, is kind of the way I heard it. For me, it's meditation. I meditate every single day, and typically 3 or 4 times a day, because it allows me to respond and not to react. That's why I do it. But those are kind of my basics that I do on a daily. And then I'll get to my coffee. Then I might look at my cell phone. Then I'm going to go take care of my family. But the first thing I need to do is take care of myself first, so I can show up as the best husband, father, best employer, whatever hat I'm wearing.
So what does that look like for you in the morning?
Well, mine's pretty extensive, brother. Typically I'm getting up at 5 to 6, depends on the morning. I try not to really push it with the alarm clock too much, because rest, we all need good, solid rest, right? Sleep is one of the most important things. Hey, by the way, you successful entrepreneurs, those people that are grinding 4 hours a night of sleep, that's got a shelf life. We need 6 to 8 minimum. So I get up, and at that point, before my foot touches the ground, Nate, I do 3 things I'm grateful for. And if my wife's awake, I'll verbalize them. If she's not, then I'll just say it in my head. And then by the time my foot hits the ground, and then I'm typically going to the restroom real fast, and then I start, man. Then I'm doing my reading. I might journal for a little bit, starting to really stretch out and do some of my exercising. If I have time, I'll go to the gym and knock out about an hour, and then I'll do my meditation, and then I'm ready to go again, take my kids to school, or to start my day in work.
No, that's amazing, man. So anybody that's struggling with getting some Zen, man, that's some great advice. And I'm gonna do something a little different because of that. I think I'm gonna maybe sweat while I'm outside when I go out there. So I sweat in a hot tub, but maybe do some jumping jacks or something out there before I get in the hot tub. Well, thank you for that, brother.
Of course. Or maybe pay double to your trainer. Be like, you know what? I'm not paying up, but I know money, I may not do it for you, brother. I think it might be like, whatever your goals are, you gotta have somebody really hold you accountable. So my kids, those are my best accountability buddies. Man, I will never lie to my kids. It's a commitment I've made. So if I put a goal, they check in with me. I have to be honest on where I'm at, because I'll lie to myself. Nah, you're doing great.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I will
yeah,
never
yeah.
lie to
So you talk about that. So what are the signs you're not living your best life, and how can you improve them?
if you're constantly being negative, that's the first thing I know when people aren't living their best life. When they're complaining about whatever, they're just that the gossip, the negativity, that's a sign that things aren't going great. And so just think about, why am I complaining about this? Why am I getting involved with the gossip? What is missing in my life that I'm choosing to talk about something negative? Because here's the problem. When you talk about negative, guess what's coming your way? More negativity.
Yep.
When you talk about positivity, positivity is coming your way. It's just the way the universe works.
That is the way. That is, I can attest to that 100%.
So the question of what should you do about it, figure out why. And typically it's who you're surrounding yourself with. My wife and I were just talking about this. One of her best, she is an amazing person, but she is in this constant need for drama. And now that drama is starting to seep into my world, into my home. And I had to finally tell my wife, like, baby, I will listen to you vent for about 5 minutes about this particular person. After that, no more. Because I'm not getting involved in this, because I want to be there. My wife's my best friend. I want to be there for her, but I can't allow someone else's drama into my house. Now it's creating drama in my house. Now we're starting to talk negative, all because of one person and something they're creating anyway. So you got to stop and just say, why is this happening? And is this the way I want to look at it? No. Okay, cool. We already talked about the people you surround yourself with. And the other thing would be just create momentum. When you start getting moving, like today, this podcast, I promise you, I was already having a good day. I'm having a great day now because I could talk to Nate. My next couple hours are going to be awesome because we created some momentum right now.
Yeah, but do you know what you do? Like, you're just, and listen, for you viewers, that some of you guys, man, it's the way you deliver your messages. People don't want to talk to you, right? But listen to how positive and upbeat he is. And he's controlling, not in a bad way, but he's controlling the situation because he's coming off positive. You can't approach a positive person with negative stuff. It just doesn't work. And so learn to be positive in your words, because those words travel on forever. You know about that, right?
I mean, Lao Tzu said it a long time. Beware of your thoughts, because your thoughts become your words. Beware your words become your action. Beware of your actions. And it's that whole long quote, because it says at the end, your thoughts became basically your destiny. And so catching ourselves in that act of that negative. Now, you said 70 million, I think, decisions you said. Well, guess what? We have about 60,000 thoughts that go through our head every single day. I promise you, they're not all going to be positive.
Yep.
That's okay. Just realize that's part of it, but choose to focus on the positive ones.
Well,
Let the negative.
And you're absolutely right. And listen, anybody listening, I grew up in a negative family around negative people. And I made a decision, but that decision just didn't happen overnight. That was something that I worked on and 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 worked on. And those 60,000 thoughts that you got coming through your head, now most of those thoughts coming through my head aren't negative. Now you still got them, but you just, hey man, get out of here. You ain't got no place around here. So you chase them out of your life, right?
Yeah, you built up that's your habit now, is choosing the positive thoughts. And brother, like I said on my own show when you were there, I was like, man, I love the way you show up, man. And you get me fired up because you got this cool way about you. Kind of got this different slang, if you will. I hear it and I'm just like, man, he's cool. But
man, I appreciate it, brother. You are too, man. To come from Montana, hey, and I'm gonna find you a place in Montana. If you don't want it, you don't want it. But I'm gonna find you one. I got actually a friend of mine that does the Airbnb. She's looking for a place out there. I told her I needed to find you one.
Well, I'm looking. That's my place. My wife and I have had the same deal forever. When my kids are out of school, I get 6 months somewhere. Mine's in Montana. She gets 6 months somewhere. It's either going to be in Florida or it'll be in Hawaii. It'll be on the beach somewhere. So, brother, if you can find that Airbnb, I'm game. Because
now, when you say 6 months, it doesn't have to be straight, right?
Nah. It probably just based on weather. I mean, I love to fly fish, so I'll probably be there, you know, late spring to early fall, maybe into the late fall, be my guess. I'm not trying to do a lot of winters anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Hence living in Florida. But yeah,
Fly
man.
fish, man. So they do that out there, out behind my house, man. I live on the water up here in Ohio, and I seen the guy out there fly fishing, and I'm thinking, man, them carp ain't gonna bite on that. Like, but he got a bass. He got a bass out of there. But you're going for salmon and trout, aren't you, when you're out there?
Yeah, I'm fly fishing for, typically rainbow and brown trout, but look, it's just therapeutic. You
It
talked about
is.
the hot tub. For me, fly fishing, if I really want to get away, if the world really get me down, you'll probably see me out in nature somewhere getting re-energized, and fly fishing is one of those things I love.
Mine's deep sea fishing. So what he's saying is find your peace, find your tranquil, take care of your mind, your body, your soul. And you spend a lot of time doing that every day. So we're about running out of time, JM. I can't wait to meet you in person, but if you could tell the people one last thing to lever up their life, what would it be?
One thing, if I could only choose one thing, it's just to be you. Your light, what you were at 5 years old, it's still in there. You may feel like it's gone, but I promise you it's there. If you start taking off those metaphorical and real masks that you started putting on to fit in fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, and they keep piling on, guess what? That's really heavy.
Yes.
And when you show up as you, like Nate, I'm 6'5", okay? It takes zero energy for me to be 6'5".
Yes.
It takes a lot of energy for me to be 5'5". I could try to convince you that I'm, enough time, enough
That's
energy,
good.
alignment.
That's
but
good, brother.
That's the way God made me.
Yep.
It takes zero energy to be that. So why not embrace that? And so that's what I want people to leave with. Like, from me, is show up as you, that beautiful you that's in there that you've forgotten about. So many of us, find it again, because the world deserves to see the light, as do you. So that would be my parting comment.
Man, that's amazing. That's a great word. Now, are you speaking? Are you back to speaking? I know COVID kind of threw everybody's schedules off.
I am speaking. And by the way, Zoom's cool. Don't get me wrong, but like you said, when we meet face to face, and I get to give you a big bear hug, and vice versa.
Hey, I'm a big guy too, man. I'm like I'm 6'3", 6'4", 300 pounds. Well, 205 pounds. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, look, I'm the smallest guy in my family at 6'5", and I'm about 250 right now. So, brother, I know you. I'm going to give you the biggest bear hug. So, to answer your question, yes, I love to speak, and I love to speak with people in person. The energy is just that much greater.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man, I love being out and about. So, anybody looking for somebody that I could help, please let me know.
Yeah. So, how can they learn more about you? I mean, you got such an amazing mind shift, man. What books should they go out and get? You got any copies of them? Can you show them for us?
You know what? It's right behind me. Actually, here. Got one right here. It's on the ground. Shouldn't have been, but let's go win. This is some of the most powerful work I've ever done, because like you said earlier, Nate, I wrote it for my kids.
Yep.
Nothing more authentic than I could give than that book. So that's on Amazon. It's on my website, letsgowin.com. And thank you for highlighting that, brother. I truly am.
I'm going to get that, man. I got to go read that book. I'm going to read that book in my hot tub. I'm going to have that book read by next week.
Well, I appreciate it. And give me your thoughts, good, bad, and different. I love the
feedback.
Listen,
you thanking me. I'm thanking you. You put this stuff out there in the universe for us to come and change our life. Why are you thanking me? I should be thanking you, brother.
Well, look at what you're doing for all these people. You host
it's us. It's not me. It's us. The reason why, though, JM, is because me and you know what it's like. We know what it's like to struggle. We know what it's like not to think that way. We know ultimately what becomes of your life if you let that run your life. You're not going to live your life. You're going to let fear, insecurities, the fear of what other people think about you run your life, and all because you're trying to hide behind this mask. And you've taken that mask off of you a long time ago, and you just want to shout to the world. It feels so good. And I did too, because I'm an outgoing person. I wanted to network. I wanted to just go out here and talk to people, but I was a drug dealer for 15 years. I couldn't go, hey, how you doing? My name's Nate. I'm a drug dealer. What do you do? You know, and man, you know, I turned all this stuff in on myself, and that's why I tell everybody everything now. I just want to get it out because I held it in for so long. And so thank you for being you, brother. And that's the main thing. Thank you for being you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I can't help it. I just maybe I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm so grateful to meet amazing people like you and just be a part of it. It's what an amazing journey, and I'm just so happy that we're sharing it together, man.
Yep. And where can people follow you at, brother?
Yeah, let's go Win 365, any social media platform, and I promise you, you won't get some bot responding to you. You will get me, and say what's up. Say hello. I'd love to talk to anybody.
Hey, so anybody out there need a mindset shift? Thank you so much, JM Ryerson. We appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Thanks for listening to Lever Up Your Life. If you could do me a huge favor and go lever up my reviews, leave me a 5-star review. I appreciate it. And if you guys want to keep the conversation going, reach out to me on Nate.Barger on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And get in our free Facebook group. We got over 200,000 members. BRRRR Invest. We'll see you in the next episode.